So I find myself, for probably the first time that I can think of, disagreeing with President Obama. Apparently he made some comments about this recent situation there with the Harvard professor, a Henry Louis Gates Jr. Apparently him and another individual were having a hard time getting in their home and wound up basically putting the shoulder into the door to try to get into the front door. Neighbor saw this, called the police. It's not clear of whether or not they were actually in the house by the time the police had arrived, but nonetheless, the police had, the officers had requested that that Gates produced some ID, and now to hear the story told from the news reports that I've seen and heard, apparently Gates brought out the old race card saying the only reason you're doing this because I'm black, hey, I live here, you know, whatever else. Things got out of hand, and the officer, a Sergeant James Crowley, wound up arresting Gates. Now, this is a situation that got completely blown out of proportion. The charges of, I believe it was disorderly conduct, if I'm not mistaken, were indeed eventually dropped. But having said that, you know, this goes back to something I've said a dozen times. You know, a police officer asks you for an ID, son, bust it out. I don't care what color you are. You know, let's put this situation on the other foot for just a second. Let's just say, for giggles here, that the officers arrive and it isn't Gates at the house, but yet a couple of individuals trying to break in the house, and no, that's okay, officer, I live here. Officer says, okay, fine, goes about his business. Later on, Gates comes home to find his house ransacked. The officer did indeed do the right thing. It's a shame that things escalated out of control the way they did, but this individual had no business trying to play the race card and to race bait this officer like he did. These guys have a hard enough job as it is. Let's cut the crap. And for our president to editorialize, he knows probably little more about the situation than I do. And I think he was in the wrong to try to editorialize at all. A simple no comment would have probably done, or would have sufficed, or, you know, it's an unfortunate situation, something to that effect. But for him to say that the police acted stupidly, is that even a word? Anyways, bad situation. I don't think the president really should have gotten involved in that way, but I guess I'll leave it at that. That's all I have for now. This is John Shannon, the Redneck Cabbie.